And somebody else that I'm worried about. I'm worried so bad is Paramount. Of course, it just sold. We all know it just sold. It sold, but on top of that, now they're starting to actually end things at Paramount, which is always worrisome. And I get it. You spend a lot of money, you bend the hole, you're laying people off, and on top of that, somebody buys you out. There's going to be cutbacks. But now Paramount TV is done. And now leads me to our feature story of the night. Now, the big conversation here is, if you hear about this, you're like, Paramount TV, what is that? It is not Paramount Plus. Let me tell you right now. It's not Paramount Plus. If we're about your Paramount Plus disappearing tomorrow, you got at least another 6 months, because that shit's be gone within the year, I guarantee it. But you got at least 6 months, is what I'm saying, because they've been in the hole. They're in the hole. They said, when the standard came out, they said until 2027, they won't make money on Paramount Plus. We've said it multiple times in this show. You know it. I know it. We all love it. That's what it is. But Paramount TV is more of a production company than an actual, or a studio than an actual streaming service, if you will. So they originally started off back in the day with Desilu. I Love Lucy was under Paramount TV. That's what it was. That was when they started, like, we need to get into TV, Paramount. So they made this whole division, get into TV. So they got with Desilu, they got in the whole production, they did I Love Lucy, they did all that. It was growing. A lot of multicam shows worked for a long time, eventually shut it down. When the streaming war started, and then they said, let's start again. And then they put all this money into it. All right, they made Reacher. Everybody's worried about Reacher right now. Reacher's going to season 3. It got greenlit. That will happen. It could be delayed. I'm going to tell you right now, because they work with Amazon, and they work with Skydance, who bought Paramount, so maybe it'll be fine. It got greenlit. The money's there. It's going to happen. Just don't worry about Reacher. Don't worry about that before. I mean, they've done a lot of projects. They did also, on top of that, 13 Reasons Why. They produced that, which is funny. It's Netflix and Paramount working together. Defending Jacob, Apple TV, working with them on top of that. And there's a lot of projects you didn't realize that Paramount had their fingers in. But this has produced a lot of things. So Paramount's been trying to spin off, and they've made money to keep them living, keep them surviving. Now that Skydance taking over, you're going to see Paramount doing a lot less, I think. The name will still stand, but I think a lot's going to go away. It's going to go away. It's going to freaking go away. And I love Paramount. I've worked there for years. I love the studio a lot. It's got a lot of history. It's amazing. I want never to die. But after this whole transition of being bought up by Skydance, especially not being bought up by Sony, you're going to see cutbacks. You're going to see things going away. And so will that mean less entertainment for you as an audience? Probably. Will it be a cutback for stuff that you might never know would have affected you? Probably. All of a sudden, a season you knew you loved will not come back. Why? Because Paramount produced it under this facade of Paramount TV that you had no idea, because, again, it's like an independent company moving forward. So, Ron, we've talked about Paramount for a long time. We worked there for years. Do you see this really affecting the business, Paramount TV going away? Or is it like another side story kind of thing where it's like, okay, it won't really do that much, but there will affect maybe a small fan base moving forward?
I think it will affect them. And I think actually it sounds like they might maybe just focus on features for a while.
Which they should. That's their bread and butter. It's all their bread and butter. Yep. When they made the Paramount Network, which was based off of Paramount TV on top of that, how well is that done? Not that well. It hasn't done that well. And then they made Paramount Plus, which again, Paramount Plus is just CBS All Access. They bought CBS All Access, and that's why that's different. That's people understand that. That's why it's running its own game, because it was CBS All Access before. That's why it was already integrated. It's just their name on it, Yeah. But do you see it being a thing where they'll cut something like that too? Because think about that, Ron. You're Skydance. You buy Paramount, right? You buy it. Oh, we have this streaming service. It's hemorrhaging money every day. Mm-hmm. Is that the next thing to go?
I don't think so, because I think it would be really foolish to get rid of a streaming service at this day and age. I mean, Nickelodeon, or was it? Yeah, Nickelodeon never got on the boat of streaming, and they died. They kids didn't watch it. I'll bet you they'll revamp everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that, because it's like, I know Jordan's not here, but Star Trek's a big thing for them too. You think that will keep it to survive though? Like franchises like that, they have such a built-in IP that people will be gravitated towards it?
I think they could. Plus their vault. There's, a lot
of money in that vault.
I think they'll revamp, and I think good will ultimately come out of it.
You've worked this.
Paramount just has gotten too big. It's just too many networks, too many. It's just too much, and they lose sight of what they were with, like in the Lucy days and stuff like that.
I know. I mean, honestly, look back at their historical like franchises and what they actually put out there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Queen Jordan's gonna be disappointed. Jordan will be disappointed. But you look back at what they've done before and what they've created and made, like they had some great television. Hence why, like when Desilu became integrated, which I love that you did, again, insider shit. You work at Paramount, you can see the Desilu like sewer caps that are still around there in the lot. It's amazing.
There's Lucy Park, that little Lucy Park right outside her office was right there. Yeah.
Was she purposely built because he was kind of fucking around on her, so put a wall up.
It was for the baby.
Yeah, but the wall happened though. Right next to it, they put the wall up to stop the girls from being snuck in.
Yep.
And then built the park to have like a family. It's kind of right. It's right next to each other though, right? It's like the park, the family park is next to the wall that she built to stop the women from having sex with her husband. It's just, I mean, like this is the 1950s. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's that time. But
I worked on the haunted stage for 8 years too. That was crazy.
Was it Haunted Hathaways? Was that there?
No, there was an electrician that died on the stage.
Oh shit, really?
And it was a stage right next to the cemetery. And there were times that we would hear things up high. And like nothing was
You're in the catwalk, right? You're in the catwalk up there.
Yeah. And there was nothing happening. We could hear things. It was interesting. It was fun. 8 years I was on there. But yes, I did Haunted Hathaways.
That lot is haunted, I think, overall.
I think so,
it has to be. I mean,
the cemetery is right there.
Right there, but also on top of that, look at how many people at that time. I've talked about the show before. There was a time in Hollywood where you used to be like hired by a studio, and Paramount was a big one, where you live on the lot and then you jump like 5 days a week. So you're hired as an actor. So Monday you start on this show. Tuesday you go to this show. Wednesday this show. Sometimes morning you start on this show. Afternoon you go to this show. And you be jumping around. And I would have loved to live at that time. I would have loved it. Carter, can you imagine living at that time where you're an actor, you get hired by a studio, you live in the studio lot. It's like going to boot camp, You're living there. You're working 5 days a week as an actor, multiple shows every day. Growing, thriving. That's Paramount. Is Paramount gonna still survive?
It's like that old saying, time will tell. But frankly, the way you described it would be like a dream come true for me to live on the lot. I mean, basically, I'm a very Das Boot kind of guy anyway, because it's like being in a band. You're in the van, you get a couple of gears, you put your gear in the back of the van, and you're like traveling down the road with some of your best buddies. Hopefully, you can still tolerate each other. So it's kind of like the same way, like being like living in the lot. You basically just get all your all your stuff together, and you do your thing for 5 days a week. But now it's like, will Paramount survive? Oh my gosh! I mean, with everything going on right now, it's a head scratcher. We live in very intriguing and very peculiar times right now. So anything goes. But is that whenever I say anything goes, is it a positive or is it a negative right now when it comes to Paramount and how they're doing business?
You hear this, so like this whole story of like, okay, we're shutting the TV section down. Of course, it's a bigger conglomerate than you think about sometimes. Again, Jack Reacher, big projects moving forward for Amazon. It's a conglomerate of like inner working contracts, right? Should the fans be worried that love shows that Paramount has produced that they had no idea they were actually behind? Or do you think that another network will pick it up, scoop that shit up, and then it'll be fine? It's like, it's not really going to affect anybody moving forward. Can you see it, Carter?
Oh, I sure can. Oh my gosh. Yeah, for me, it's an absolute head scratcher. I mean, the thing is, I think ideally for the business, we would love to see Paramount move forward in a positive direction, because obviously I think it'll do its best to stick with the times and do what is best for business, obviously. But I think right now it's very, I can understand why some people would think, oh, it's collapsing right now, and that it might just implode on itself altogether. It's very, very disturbing to think about because some of the best films that we've watched growing up came from Paramount. I mean, there are too many
huge library.
Yeah, exactly. Too many examples to cite, but given with the ever-changing times in the way things are these days with streaming, Netflix, etc., it's like you just never know what to expect anymore. So hopefully there's a positive outcome from this.
Yeah. Buck Rogers is right. It's collapsing a little bit. I mean, the fact that Skydance bought it, I'm fine with. I think they might fix it. But Carter, like, we're worried. We're worried. I'm always worried about Paramount. That's the idea of this conversation. I'm worried about Paramount.
Yeah.
You see shuts downs. You hear the firings, the layoffs. They spend like so much money on this. GR, will Paramount be okay? Is this not a sign of bad things to come? And can this studio survive under new management after they're already shutting down and firing people? The deal's not even done, GR. What do you think?
I think it's going to be different. I mean, as Ron said, their history and their vault will keep them alive. But people when I first saw it, Reacher was a great casting of this idiot. But like too many Hollywood stars, he opened his mouth and he has alienated 90% of the viewers.
Oh, shit. You saying some bad shit online?
Well, he's a bleeding heart liberal, and the character is a dyed-in-the-wool, old-fashioned guy. And he said some things that people like me, I won't watch the show anymore. That's how pissed off he made me. I did. And then he opened his mouth and put both feet in it and said, basically, people like me, he said, fuck you very much. But
even on this show, GR, it's like we're entertainment. Entertainment is separate from political shit. It's like what the idea is, end of the day, is like we're here to bring joy to everybody, and that's what it comes down to. And people like overstep that sometimes.
It'll survive, Brian. I mean,
well,
they have, as you said, Star Trek, Lucy, shows like that are true paramounts to the industry.
Yeah.
And just because he's a moron doesn't mean I'll stop watching other shows.
But
I've been a Trekkie since before you were born, Brian.
And Jordan respects that too. He's not here. He's taking care of Jensen tonight.
Oh,
it will be Paramount will survive. Then they change the names and they'll change some things. Oh yeah, I agree. Have another one, Brian.
Yeah, I have one more. We're at the end of the show.
But Paramount has a history that we can all relate to.
He might have been Buck Rogers. He's also supposed to be Batman. He's working his way up. We'll see. But I will say this, OGR. I will say this, though. Paramount, there's a lot of... We've been talking about Paramount for so long. There's a lot of good things that come from a sale like this. When you're already in the hole and you're losing money, you're hemorrhaging constantly, you're worried about staying open, somebody can swoop in and save the day. That's great. It can keep that brand going, keep that studio going, keep that feeling of what is Paramount. Old school Hollywood, keep it alive. But you have no idea how they're going to change that old school habit, that old school spirit. You have no idea what they're going to make it to be into the future. I hope the best that Skydance got this. I think they're a smaller studio. Maybe they'll take that essence of Paramount and grow with it. Cut the fat, make it better, take it and bring it back to the audience. But you don't know until the writing is on the wall. It's going to take some time for us to know what they will actually do. And I hope the best. Ron, we wanted to stay open. We do, right? Worked there for years. How many years?
It's Hollywood history.
Yeah.
In fact, the term best boy came from a feature that was shooting at Paramount in the 30s. And the whole crew, the crews were all there. People would line up and say, I want to work. And they'd bring them in. It'd be like, you 8, go to the grip crew. You 8, go to the electric, blah, blah, blah. And then the person that was the best that day would go out the next morning and pick the other 7 as the boss stayed on stage.
He was the best boy.
That was the best boy.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great? And that was at Paramount. It was Paramount.
That's movie history.
Absolutely. I love that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I heard that story too, Ron. I didn't know it was true.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so happy that history like that still exists in this town, and it's being kept alive through somebody keeping this studio alive. And I hope that we never lose the roots of Hollywood. I mean, bad shit happened back then, of course, but the roots of what makes it what it is, that grew to be a conglomerate that it is, that made it be something that survived all the wars and everything else, to be something that brings entertainment. Let's keep that alive. Let's keep growing, learning, and
it's
for
sad
another
when
100 years.
Sony Studios used to be MGM, and it's just sad that it's
gone.
Yeah,
I worked on Mank, I worked on Mank, and we redressed that to be MGM again. It was really fucking cool. If you watch that movie, and I was like learning more history in that through like working on that movie. And it was really, they went to the front gates, which was like the original front gate's different than what it is now, where they actually used to come in all the time. That was cool to see how they dressed it again. MGM, big name, and now Amazon owns MGM. Amazon owns that shit.
It's just like,
What does Amazon own, Brian?
So they can take it into space on that rocket penis. That's why they own it. Round of applause for rocket penis.
Thank you very much.
Anyways, Paramount will be fine. Hopefully, they're bought out. Somebody else take over. The reins are there, and the TV section is done, but it might not affect you like you were hearing online. We'll have to wait and see where it goes forward. Maybe Paramount Plus will disappear, but it's here for now. Your Reacher's coming. I know people are fucking freaking out. Reacher is coming. Your shows are still coming. Things are moving forward. It's just a logistics term on a fucking contract. That's what it is. It'll be fine for now.
Oh, boy.
Yo, player, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the pep star needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.